Hi crafters, welcome to our how-to video for our Let It Snow snowman 16-inch round door hanger. I'm going to start out with the background round, and for this project we're using navy paint and we're using the baby wipe method. So you will need some baby wipes. You could use a wet paper towel in a pinch. The moisture in the wipe helps to get the paint to evenly cover your round. We're using it more as a stain versus a paint. So I have some of the paint out on my baby wipe, and I'm just going to go back and forth in a nice horizontal line, and I'm going to cover the background of my round. I personally like to have some of the wood grain show. This particular round had quite a few characteristics from the wood in it, so you can see those. If you don't care for the wood grain showing, you can put it on a little heavier or do a second coat, or you could even put it on with the foam brush instead of the baby wipe method. I'm going to quickly get this covered. That's the one nice thing about using chalk paint with the baby wipes. You can get it on here pretty quickly, and then as you go about finishing the other pieces to your project, the stained background is going to be dry super quickly. So in a matter of a minute or so, I have gotten this on to my background. And you also have the option of using that baby wipe. I'm using the same one I started with. I can turn it to a clean spot, get a little more moisture there, and I can actually kind of go over it to even show a little bit more of the wood grain. Same thing if I used a new one and I started to rub, you could definitely take off some of the paint and have a nice stained background. This is the Oxford Navy. It is pretty dark. I think it makes a great backdrop to our white snowman pieces. You could definitely do a white that's a different shade than your snowman if you really wanted to, or a paler blue or a gray. Any of those things would look nice, but the blue is included in your kit. Okay, I'm also going to give you some quick tips for painting the other pieces. Let me pop this out of the way. I pre-painted most of the lettering just to save time during our video. I did save one of the words to show you. You have a foam brush in your kit. You also have some of the sponges. Perhaps you'd like to use that instead. I'm actually going to use the side of my foam brush. I just dunked it in, wiped the excess off, and I'm going to use it flat up and down to do my words. If you've come to class or you've watched any of my other videos, you will hear me say many times that the key to a clean project is going up and down. The minute that you start to use excess paint and you go in a side to side direction, then you start to get that paint dripped down the edges of your project. I usually do one side, turn it around, and just hold it with my fingernail. If you don't have long enough fingernails, you could use a push pin, or just let it dry and then do the other side, whatever works for you. But I just like using the side of the foam brush and tapping in that up and down direction. That will give you a nice clean edge to all of your small 3D pieces. So, okay, I'm gonna hold that up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but I don't have extra down on my edges. That up and down motion seems to really work best. So I did all of our words. I also did the snowflakes that come with your kit. I did the same exact thing with the brown for the arms, the orange for the nose, and all of the little black dots that you will use for his mouth. And then also the 2 snowman body and head pieces. So I pre-painted those just to save us a little bit of time. I used the exact same method. Either you can pounce with the makeup sponge up and down or pounce with the side of the brush. I just recommend not going back and forth, but more of an up and down motion. Okay, so we're gonna just make some room here for those pieces. I'll bring back my round. It's not quite dry. This was just, just minutes ago. You can use sandpaper to do a light sanding. Because mine's not dry, I'm not going to be fully sanding this here, but I am going to just briefly go around here and show you what I mean. You don't have to do that. You definitely can make it more solid blue. This is such a great project because you can really do it however you want and give it your own spin. So when you are ready to glue, I'm actually going to do my backer first, give that another minute to dry. Included in your kit, you will have a hanging mechanism, for lack of a better word, and you're going to put glue on the back. When you open up your super glue, you will use the little knob thing at the end, puncture the tube, and then put it back together. This one was already opened, so let me get the lid back on it and get that open without getting my fingers stuck to it, which I'm about to do. Hold on here. So let me get that lid screwed back on there. Don't do it over top of your project. So, alrighty. I'm going to add my super glue onto my backer board. This is the only time where I use a little extra, more than I ever would use on my pieces. So I'm gonna go to my backer. I'm going to center this on the back top. You can put this on at the end or at this point, it really doesn't matter. Just make sure if you put it on early in the project that you glue your pieces so that it is straight. I'm going to just tie a knot with my twine and keep my string at that length. You can make it longer or shorter, whatever works for you. So I'm keeping that to my top. And I'm pretty dry. I'm gonna position my pieces onto the board, all in the location where I want them to be. So this cute little snowman is looking up at the night sky. And we're gonna have our words on here. About so. Let it. I think I like that positioning. His little nose is going to be pointing up. We've got all those dots. Put them on for his nice little smile. I believe there's about 10 of these in your kit, so you can kind of play with how you want your mouth to be. Because he's looking up at the night sky, we don't see his eyes, but you can adjust it to your liking. He has his 2 hands, and there reaching up into the sky. We've got a few little snowflakes that we can add on here. And like so. And I will lift these up one at a time and glue all of my pieces on. When you glue them, you just want to put a few little dabs of glue in a few different places, not on the entire thing. You're not writing big lines of glue because then it will squish out underneath, okay? So I will take the time, I'm gonna turn this around so I can get it all straight when I'm done with the video. The other thing that you can do, this is an option. I kind of love it just the way it is. However, if you wanted to add some more snow, you could grab yourself a paintbrush, or even, we have these old toothbrushes in the shop, and I just like to get a little moisture on it. I'm just dipping it in some water, grabbing a little bit of white paint, and just another extra little touch that you can do is to give yourself some more falling snow on your background. You can do that now. You could have done it prior to laying out your pieces. I think it's just like another extra little special touch. So this guy doesn't have a bow. We didn't want to cover up his words at the top. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue this up and you can see the final picture on our page. Thank you very much, guys.